Hey everyone, welcome to this video. I have Gaurav with me here. So Gaurav is a subscriber of Unfold Data Science since long now, and Gaurav came for one of the mock interview also, if you guys remember. And it's a great pleasure for me to bring Gaurav here one more time, just to share his experience on, uh, as I tell always, right? The biggest boundary is, you know, removing that tag of 0 years experience, right? So Gaurav has done that successfully, and welcome Gaurav on the channel one more time.
Thank you, sir.
And there will be many people who will be interested in knowing how did you crack your job, how was the journey like, and what were the difficulties, and what is the typical interview format for freshers and other learnings, right? So over to you,
Yes, yes.
Gaurav. You would like to start with some pointers first.
Okay. Okay. So, hi everyone. My name is Gaurav Kambe, and I'm a mechanical engineer. I gave an interview for data science as well to Aman sir on this channel a couple of months ago, I guess. So I recently gave 3 interviews: one for machine learning engineer position and two for data science positions. And the company I'm currently working with is a renowned MNC, and it's been in the market for several years now. The work is majorly in the finance domain, and due to company's policies, I cannot take the name of the company.
Sure,
The
sure.
the special points I would like to mention for my entry in this field would be that I come from a non-IT background, being a mechanical engineer. I don't have any job experience in any kind of field, so I haven't done any kind of internships, not in data science, not in any kind of field, and I haven't done any kind of certifications or any paid courses or such. All everything I have learned, these all are these all came from free resources. And there is a myth, that freshers cannot get a job in MNCs. They have to try for the startups and all. So thank God I didn't fell for any of these myths. So and after all these odds, I am now an officially a data scientist.
Great to know that, Gaurav. So, first of all, tell us about your failures, basically, because that is more important. What do you think is few things? Everybody's experience might be different, but what are the things you feel that your learnings basically, or you could have done differently while searching the job?
Okay. So, firstly, sir, I used to, I saw when I was, when I gave the interview on your channel, I what I did is I just, I saw the job posting and I just sent my resume. I didn't fine tune my resume to any of the job. I didn't saw what are the skills required for this. Are my skills stick to them? Are my skills 100% matching to them? And the projects are for example, if I'm applying to healthcare domain industry, my projects won't the resume projects won't be in a finance domain at all, means that won't count much. So that was the mistake I did firstly. Then what I did is I improved myself. I learned deployment. I did deployment on Heroku, Azure, AWS, and then build some projects. And then what I did is for every company I approached, I fine tuned my resume and send my projects at this same related to that domain the company is working. And the only platform you will need is LinkedIn. I don't even know if Naukri.com and all, Indeed and all, if those websites work even, because I never received anything from those websites. But LinkedIn is the best platform if you are trying to break into this field. LinkedIn is the best platform. People are posting jobs and all. There are multiple jobs there. So I also got these three interview calls through LinkedIn. And,
Okay.
And so it's really tough when you give your best and still get rejected. So I for 2 interviews I felt that, and I was on the verge of giving up. But but not in the sense of data science. I was in the verge of giving up for this job. I would have continued studying in this field because I really love this field. I really love to work with data. I'm not here in for just for the sake of job. So I was about to quit. For the jobs related to data science as a fresher. As it's really tough to get into this field as a fresher. So uh, but at that point of time, sir, Aman sir also motivated me and told that yes, you are up there. You just have to stick there. And eventually I didn't give up. I still had my third interview for the third company, and yes, I gave 3 technical rounds for that company, last time managerial round, and qualified for that company. Currently working for it.
Okay, so that's an interesting thing what you told in the beginning. So to all the freshers who are listening this now, LinkedIn is a very great platform, right? So Gaurav is saying he was not very much active on Indeed, Naukri, or Monster, or whatever you call it, right? So
Yes.
Gaurav, how did you reach out to people? Did you went on jobs and applied for jobs, or did you reach out to people? What did you do?
Yes, I did both, sir. First of all, I updated my whole LinkedIn profile. I mentioned what my education is, what projects I've done, and I used to upload all my projects on a regular basis. Whatever I have done, whatever, and GitHub and LinkedIn are the most important things if you are trying to break into this field. Uh, Upload your project on GitHub, write a beautiful README so that people can know just by seeing your project, seeing your profile, the README page, and then post it on LinkedIn. I did that, and I reached to people as well, and I used to apply for the job directly as well. The 3 interview calls I got, one of them was through referral, and 2 of them were I directly applied for those and got interview calls. So both ways it works, but if you are getting a referral, it's the chances of getting an interview call is much higher than applying directly.
Yeah, true. And just tell us about what is the typical interview structure? What are the main areas they try to touch? What are the main areas they try to cover, and they try to ensure that you should be good in that?
Okay, shall I tell the interview process for all the 3 interviews I faced?
Sure. Yeah, one by one you can say.
Yes. In the first interview, sir, I guess the company was looking for an experienced person. And I don't know why, but whenever all the 3 interviews I give, they feel like I'm an experienced person. They ask for experience. In the first interview as well, when I gave my introduction, they asked me to tell me about my experience. I said I've recently graduated and I don't have any experience. So I guess from that point only, they were predetermined that we want an experienced candidate. So that interview, pretty basic questions related to stats, Python basics, and like basic project related things. When will you use mean imputation? When will you use median and all that stuff? No deep learning questions in that interview, but pretty basics. I answered all the questions. 100% questions I attempted, and I guess I did pretty well. Then too, sir, the company was looking for an experienced candidate, I guess. So I wasn't selecting that, but that was okay for me because I got the intention from the start itself, beginning itself. So it didn't hurt me that much. But what did is for the next time I applied. I had got an interview call for the machine learning engineer position. For machine learning engineer positions, they focus more on algorithms part. Machine learning algorithms, deep learning, and all. So, but this was even better, far better than the first interview. The interviewer touched upon almost all the topics I learned until now. He started from basic statistics. He asked what is normal distribution, how would you transform a skew data into a normal distribution, then mean, median, mode, measures of dispersion, all those stuff. Then basic stats. He also gave me an example to which I had to apply the central limit theorem. Those parts were belonging to the stats. Okay, then he came for Python. He asked, basic stats started with what are mutable types, immutable objects, then difference between tuples and list and all. So basic Python questions, what are objects, functions, these things. Then he moved forward to machine learning part. At that, no wait. Firstly, he encountered the project section. He asked about my project. I had to explain the whole project. I explained it from beginning itself. What the problem statement was. It was a binary classification. Then what the actual problem statement. Why is that even a problem? If that's a problem, why even that is a problem? If for example, if my project is if my project was e-commerce shipping, so why is that a problem? The company wants to know whether their product has been delivered on time or not. So in order to increase their revenues, grow more. So that's why they are looking for this. Then I went into the hypothesis. I made some hypothesis before entering into this problem. I saw the feature names and pre-decided. Okay, so these are the feature names. This would be related to the outcome. This would be, I guess, this would be not. For example, if there's a mode of shipment, either the product is delivered by ship or by road or by flight. So the product which is delivered by flight, that might be have higher possibilities than the both to reach on time. So these kind of hypotheses I did. I told that. Then I went into the whole data processing part, wherever did I handle the missing values, how did I handle the outliers and all. I explained all the data processing pipeline. Then I went to the model building. Why did I use ensemble learning models, and why didn't I use the algorithms which are not tree based? I usually use models, ensemble learning models or tree-based algorithm models when I have more number of features within it, because just fitting a line or using the parametric models and so the splitting the data is far easier. So these were all the questions related to ML. Related to data processing. Then in ML, sir, he asked me an algorithm. He asked me to explain the SVM. For SVM for linear data as well as for non-linear, the SVM kernels. And he told me to explain all the basic, and is it affected by outliers? I told that at some point it is affected. Then, sir, he moved forward with the deep learning part. In deep learning also, sir, he asked multiple questions related to deep learning, starting from ANN, CNN, and RNN, sir. He asked me to explain the whole neural network structure. Is it similar to biological neural network? Then he gave me an equation. Suppose if a perceptron or a neuron has values of input, let's say 10, and weight value is 2, and bias value is 5. What will be the output? I told that it would be weight times bias, and it would be given to weight times input. Sorry, and it would be given to the activation function. If it's ReLU, so it would be either 0 or the positive number. Okay, and bias will only come in picture if it has to make biasy decisions. If I explained it a bit, and then we went ahead for the RNN and LSTM and all those stuff. He asked me about natural language processing, NLP, but I haven't explored that field yet. I told him I haven't explored that field yet. He was okay, that's fine. You don't have to know everything, but you have to know whatever you are learned in detail, so in pretty much depth. So that was it. Then after all this conversation, he also asked about my patent. I have a patent in lateral field. So we had a chat with conversation about that as well. And sir, I asked almost all the questions, answered almost all the questions, and yes, there was a coding round as well. He gave me a Python question. I answered it that way, and after all this, after even after I have given all the answers correctly, I guess, even after that, he said that yes, I'm pretty much impressed by your skills, by the detailed knowledge you have, all this, and the projects part of it and all. Still I got rejected. So that really hurted me because I wasn't knowing what else do I need to know. What else do I have to do? Extra. It was a bit, demotivating for me. So, I also talked with you at that time. At that point of time, sir, that positivity is really important.
Correct.
Yes. I was about to give up. So I had my interview within 2 days, I guess. My company for interview for the third company. I was, I was deciding not to give that interview as well. I was so discouraged. But like I said, okay, no problem. Let's give it a try. Let's see what happens. And yes, I gave my interview after 2 days. I had this was the company which I finally placed in. I had 3 technical rounds, and last one was the managerial round. In the first technical round, but this interview rounds for this company was pretty systematic. And in the first technical interview round, they asked questions related to Python and the projects. Moreover, the projects. I had a coding round and projects. He told me to explain 2 of my projects from end to end. How did I from problem statement itself to final deployment part and all. Okay, and first interview was this. Then was the coding round. Moreover, the coding part he related to pandas and data frames and all. So I had to make transformations. So I did that as well. So I received a call that I have cleared this interview. Then the second technical round. In second technical round, they were focusing more on statistics part, and moreover the ML part, ML algorithms. They asked, basic what do you mean by normal distribution, difference between mean, median, and all. Then all those stuff. And in ML parts, they asked me about my favorite algorithm. And I said XGBoost, and I told them everything that you had told in that video. XGBoost. That was a blessing, sir. And they were so amazed when I told them about how it uses the sachet memory, and how it uses the makes the most of the computational resources, the regularization parameter lambda, and all. I told them, and they were really happy, by the knowledge I had related to this. Again, they asked me about the difference between. I gave this answer so well. They asked me about difference between the AdaBoost and GradientBoost. I just told that AdaBoost, the decision-based estimators have just a stump, are in form of stump, just a root node and 2 leaf nodes, and for GradientBoost, it grows until a certain limit. He told me, okay, we are good with it. Well, let's move ahead. He didn't even ask further about that. These were the questions related to ML. Then was the coding round as well. For every interview, I had a separate coding round. This coding round, it was related to data structure. Which I answered around 90%, and even the interviewers were so encouraging. They motivated me. Okay, you are going in the right direction. Don't confuse yourself. Be calm, relax, and okay. This is the thing you are doing. And the thing you should remember is while attempting the coding round, sir, you have to speak it out loud. You have to tell the recruiter, show the recruiter that yes, you know the what the problem is, and okay, and you should tell them, okay, I guess I have to follow this approach. I guess the first step would be this. You have to constantly be talking with the recruiter. You don't have to shut down.
Keep them engaged with your thought process.
Yes, absolutely. And then even I solved around 90% of that problem, not the whole problem, but my approach was correct. That is what they also told me. And yes, I cleared that second round. The third technical round was moreover, related to their company requirement. As the company is in more in finance domain, they asked me. About a use case and related. Okay, they asked me about sorry, the applications. The applications in banking domain. And finance domain. So I told them the churn modeling is there. Then credit card fraud detection can be there, and they asked me questions related to them. Those applications. So they asked me about the imbalance data. How would you handle the imbalance data set for credit card fraud detections and all? And if you are, they asked me that if you are solving the churn prediction, churn modeling, then what would be your features? If you are talking to the client, what information would you ask to that? What kind of data would it be? So I said, previous transactions, your number of transactions the customer has recently made, and so on. So they were happy with my answer as well, and it was related to this segment, and also the coding round. Coding round also they provide me a data set, and I had to do transformations for that. So pandas was this. I use pandas heavily for this, and okay, that. And yes, it was a good round. I answered everything in that, and yes, I was selected for that as well. And last was
what happened in managerial? Yeah, I was going to ask that. Yeah.
Yes. In managerial, sir, I had an interview with the manager and the vice president of the company, and first of all, they asked me why switch from mechanical to data science. First, yes. Then I told me about my interest, how I get into the programming and all, how I get into the data science. Then they asked me, okay, when did you graduate? Then I told in the October 2020. So they told me from October 2022 until now, tell me what things you did in all. So I answered them in step by step what I learned, how I approached the data science field and all, how I learned deep learning and all. And then pretty much related to personal things, how many members are there in your family and all. And then as the interview moved ahead, they asked me, they began telling me about my roles and responsibilities, what would be my roles and all. So I was happy at that moment. Yes, I I was getting the feeling, yes, I will be getting hired. And the last question, sir, they asked me if I had any questions to them. So this is the best part, sir. I never leave this question blank. I always come up with some other question with them. So I asked one question, which I cannot disclose now. And the next question I asked is, if everything goes fine, from when can I start to work? They said, if we tell you to join from Monday, would you be willing to join? I said, yes, absolutely. And said, okay, enjoy your last weekend. You are hired, and we want you to start working from Monday. So I was really happy at that moment.
Okay. Great.
So that was it. And in all, sir, I like to tell that the favorite data type of recruiters is Python dictionary. They in all the interviews, the Python question I get was related to dictionary only. So I would suggest people to study deep in related study more exercises, solve more problems related to dictionary, and
that's awesome. Thanks for the detailed answer, Gaurav. Detailed, all the interviews you covered. That is what people want to hear, actually, your experiences, your learnings, right?
Yes.
And Any other learnings apart from that, like from technical perspective? You told many things. So from non-technical or personal front, that you learned something. So it's been close to 1 year now. You're looking, kind of searching for a job, or so. Any learnings on that front?
Okay. So how did my learning went? Should I explain that?
No. I'm saying just on the apart from let's say data science or all these things, right? So personal front also, you might be feeling little frustrated at times,
Yeah.
or you might be feeling that your friends already got a job and your friends are making money, you're not making money. Sometimes maybe little bit of family pressure. All these things will be there, right?
Yes.
I'm just telling your learnings on those areas.
Yes. So everything was there. If even if the family members don't, kind of show you that pressure, but it's always there.
Yeah.
You have to. Yes. Once you get your graduation degree, they are expecting you to join a job. All my friends were, had a job, and I was the only one doing this stuff. And you not even knowing, if I could break into this field, I could get a job. But sir, the thing is that when I started data science, I wasn't even knowing if this would, have any kind of future in. It is in boom, such a boom. I wasn't even knowing this. I just used to, I just came used to it, became used to it, and started learning things. And the thing is that, sir, I didn't try to, become the best in this field. I just love this field. I just love when I get a dirty data, and you have to clean those those pre-processing steps and all, and then you feed to the model. I just love that part. So just just follow your passion, and things will definitely come to you. You don't even have to chase them.
True.
Yes, and few failures don't define you, sir. Even if yes. And yes, sometimes life is not so good, it's cruel. Even if you give your best, don't expect that okay, you will the outcome would be come. So that thing I have learned. But consistency is the key, and never lose hope on it. If you are dedicating your whole and soul for this, then definitely, sir, you'll achieve what you want.
Great.
Thank you, sir. And
Yeah,
I had also had some suggestions for the people who are giving the interview or in the interview process. First would be that as soon as you are selected for interview process, the company would allow you someone from the human resource department, right? So what you can do is save their contact number. It's pretty basic thing, but you can save their contact number, and next time whenever that person calls, you can say hello, ma'am, or good morning, sir. It shows that you are interested in that company also. So yes, that would be a part. That would be a point. And I have jotted down, sir. Okay, and don't forget Python. Try solve problems related to and solve basic problems related to Python a day before interview or on the day of interview itself, because mostly you will get problems related to Python, and mostly the dictionary, as I mentioned before as well. And I would suggest that don't study 15 to 20 minutes prior to the interview, because all these things jumbling on these kind of stuff are going in your mind. So instead, either meditate or try some tongue twisters and all. So it would have a clear idea during the interview.
Yeah.
And okay. And last, sir, for the third company that I interviewed, there were 5 recruiters asking me questions, and they were knowingly putting me pressure, asking 3 to 4 questions, at once. You have to do this, then this, okay, and if this goes this way, do this or do this and all. So it might happen to you as well. They will ask multiple questions at a time. They are just checking how you handle the pressure.
Yeah.
What you can do is, firstly, if you are solving a Jupyter notebook, which is highly likely, you can write down whatever the recruiter has told, and if even if you have any doubts, you can ask them to repeat it. Okay, then solve it one by one. Or what you can do is, focus on the first one or two questions. If you ask four questions at all at once, focus on one or two questions. Literally forget about third and fourth. Solve these two questions, and then ask again. Okay, sir, can you just repeat what you just asked? What do I have to do next? So that would be it. Release pressure one by one. Don't get too much into it, and try meditating, sir. Even if one or two sessions of 15 minutes, it really helps. It really calms your mind. Even if even if you know all these concepts, statistics, ML part, DL part, even if you know, but if you are not able to deliver that during the interview, it's almost the waste of whatever you have put in efforts.
Yeah. So you have covered many points, Gaurav. Thanks for jotting it down and covering it one by one.
Yes, I really wanted to help, in the process that I went through. So, and
many people are struggling on that front. I know cracking the first job is not easy. That I know. Now, if you are 2-year guy, right, then many people will come with an offer to you. Yes. I will refer you. But first thing is you're saying something, Gaurav.
Yes. And, there's this, myth going on that if you're not IT background and all, you will not be able to break into this field. If you are a mechanical guy and all, if it's really tough to you. So it's tough. I know. See, you're telling me about mechanical engineering degree, the graduation degree. Sir, I would like to tell that I have failed in 11th standard. And still I'm a data scientist now. So really your education doesn't matter that much, but your skills, the projects, and the efforts you take for this, it matters. That matters a lot. I really focused more on statistics part before getting to this ML and all part. And until now, sir, I have worked on more than 50 projects.
Oh, so amazing.
And working 14 to 16 hours every day, I guess. So taking a little bit breaks, and I'm working for this. I always felt that, okay, I'm doing something what I really love about, what I'm really passionate about. So even after getting rejected for jobs and all, still I had that feeling that yes, I need to give up on jobs and all, but never on this field, sir. I just loved it. I would have try freelancing and all, do projects, but I wouldn't quit this field. So if you're really passionate about this, yes, you can really get into this. You can break into this.
You can do it if you are from a different background as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And how did Unfold Data Science help you?
Sir, Unfold Data Science, I just can't thank enough to use your videos. Help me a lot, sir. All those. I just told they asked me my favorite algorithm. When I told everything about XGBoost, each and every point I told it was from a video. And they were so impressed, with that answer, the data boost and all. It's your channel is like the second ISLR for the people, So you just can't. I just can't thank you enough.
I try to connect with people. I'm a believer of human values, right? So all these things, jobs, making money, all these things are one thing, but human to human interaction, human to human value is something very important for me. That is where I try to reply to all the comment, but sometimes not able to reply. But I try to do that when someone sends me a mail. I try to reply that. Sometimes some people will ask very, very, very basic question. I'm not able to read the file from pd.read_csv. I will not reply to that person because I want that person that.
To learn. Yes, yes. So yes, try as much as you can, and yes, sir always replies. Not if not immediately, but he replies definitely. He helps. He has helped me a lot. There's a lot of share. For Aman sir in my success. I would dedicate the most of the part of my success to Aman sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, Gaurav, for your words. And one more thing, any good work that you have done, I mean, in learning process, right? We discussed one more time, you remember? Some Heroku deployments you have done, or
Yes.
something that you want to share with people, right?
Yes, sir.
You get time, you just create a video and I'll publish here.
Yes, I have built a template kind of file, which you can reuse for deployments on Heroku, Azure, AWS, whatever you want to deploy. I have built a template file. Most of the people struggle for the deployment part.
Correct.
But, if you follow that, you are only having either the continuous values or the categorical values.
Correct.
You just have to put your feature names in that, and it will work for you. It's a really good template, and it really changes the viewpoint of recruiter when you tell in the introductory part itself that I have built multiple end-to-end data science projects following the entire data science pipeline. Deploying the same on Heroku, Azure, AWS cloud platforms. It really changes the viewpoint. Okay, this guy has worked on deployment part as well. He knows end-to-end data science pipeline. So for that purpose also, it's really beneficial for the aspiring data science candidates. Also, I regularly write articles related to data science and machine learning on Medium. You can check it. And
I will drop your link. You can give me.
Yes, and also the GitHub link. Also, I have built multiple reusable projects. You can use for your projects as well. You can refer it.
I will drop Gaurav's LinkedIn also in the detail if you want to get connected.
Yes, I'm happy to connect.
Yeah.
Okay. The resources I use the most is firstly, sir, your videos. It's the best. Your videos. Then sir, Andrew Ng. He's the best for theoretical part, linear regression, logistic regression, and all those stuff. Then ISLR book, Introduction to Statistical Learning with R. That also I referred because of you. You told in a video.
It's a very good book, right?
Yes. It's kind of Bible to data science students,
And very simple, very simple. It's like a drug.
Yes, in very simple language, everything is explained.
Yeah.
Then, if you want to break into deep learning as well, I referred the deep learning with Python by Francois Chollet, the creator of the deep learning Keras library. This stuff are enough for you, and Google is there always.
Yeah.
Yes, toward data science blogs and all. These kind of things are there, but these are the majority things which on which I highly depended upon.
Okay, so these are the things you try to refer whenever you want to learn a new topic, right?
Yes. Also, sir, I want to give few suggestions to the people who are starting breaking into this field, learning this field. If you are just getting into this if you people are getting into this because of the sake of good salary and the hype going on, then it's the possibilities for you is really less, because it's really a tough field to be in.
Sure.
I mean, yes, the concepts are really complex. You have to go into details, for them, sir, whoever is trying to break into this field, what I would suggest is, if you have decided to break into this field, what you do is you spend your first entire month on learning Python and statistics. You focus on them because that's what you would be working with forever, I guess, if you are staying in this field.
Yeah.
Try to study that pretty well. And if after a month, don't give up within a month. Even if you if you want to know, okay, this is not my my stuff and all. Yes, there will be times that when you will feel that yes, I have to give up. This is not my stuff and all. Don't give up for a month, and even after a month you feel interested in this, then this field is for you. Then then you go ahead and learn all those libraries, NumPy, Pandas, and all. Then ML algorithms, then deployment part, deep learning if you're really interested, and all those stuff you can learn afterwards. Don't directly start with Pandas library, start with data frames. First, learn the basics, clear the basics. Don't go with complex things at the beginning itself. So that would be my suggestions to anyone who is entering into this field. And yes, and Aman sir and all, Aman sir is always ready to help you. Even I would try my best to help you out. If you reach me out, I would definitely do my part. I will do my bit, definitely.
That's a very good point, Gaurav, because sometimes what might happen is if I give a fresher understand lasso regression and ridge regression in one day and tell me what is your understanding tomorrow, it might be very difficult for somebody who is very new to this field, right? So yes. They will not be able to visualize key why coefficients need to be shrinked. Yes. Why it is mandatory. So that is where understanding of what are the coefficients. If we give the wrong coefficients, then what will be the business impact? So if you don't go step by step, right, grasping these things will be little difficult, very difficult actually.
Yes, linear regression, not just y equals mx plus b. It's really a deep algorithm within inside all in all. I spent the first month in studying linear regression itself and concepts related to that. So it's really important to study what's between the lines of those algorithms and all.
And that is where statisticians are always in favor of these parametric algorithms, because they feel very confident on these algorithms. They know end to end what's happening, right? But
yes,
nowadays deep learning is gaining momentum because of many things. It has reduced many human effort. It has reduced. So yes. Both have their own pros and cons. So
yes, and if deep learning, people ask, if deep learning is mandatory. In 3 of my interviews, only for the machine learning engineer position, I gave the interview. Only in that part, deep learning was asked in detail. So I guess if you are applying for machine learning engineer, deep learning is a must, I guess. But,
yeah.
Most of the questions were asked for it. For data science, for the 2 interviews I gave for data science, not a single question on data science. Also, not a single question on deployment part. For the machine learning engineer position I gave, sir asked me the total procedure for deployment part on Azure. I forgot to mention that, but he asked me the total procedure that I followed, starting from the starting of my project and until the deployment on Azure app, cloud platform. So deep learning is for that. And but sir, I would like to put it in this way: if the recruiter asks a question about, explain RNN to me, explain LSTM or related to deep learning, even if you don't know that, it's okay. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
But if the recruiter asks you to tell him the assumptions of linear regression, and you say, sir, I don't know, you are fired.
That's a problem.
Yes, that interview will not proceed only.
I will tell you one experience, recent experience. To one person, I asked, what is the she claims she's a data scientist, okay? And I asked her, what are the famous, most used Python packages for data science? And she's like, I'm not prepared for a technical interview now. I'm like, I'm just asking you 5 names, yeah, NumPy, Pandas, Matplot, Scikit.
Yes.
Prepare in this. You're like, no,
yes.
I did not expect this interview to be a technical interview. So how can you refer that person,
What's technical? And she claimed to be a data scientist.
Yeah, data scientist, data analyst, something on that line profile. That should not happen, right? You cannot say that, if I ask you what are the important Pandas function, You cannot tell me ki I don't know merge, aggregate, filter, join, lock, iLock. You cannot say that I don't know these, or I need to revise, or I need some time to prepare. That is not what should happen. That creates a
Yes.
very wrong impression.
Yes, even if someone wakes you up from the sleep, at that point also you should be able to ask this answer these basic questions.
Any damn Python code you take from Kaggle, you take from machine learning mastery, any place you take, the first 5-6 lines will be import pandas, import numpy,
Yes,
import.
read CSV function. Come on.
So that is there. So these basic things should be covered. Very good point brought by you. For example, if somebody tells me CNN, right, what is pooling layer or what is max pooling does, you say that I can't recall now because I have not seen since some time. That is kind of acceptable.
Yes.
But somebody tells you what is variance and standard deviation and you say that I can't recall, problem.
That's not acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay. And the interview would not proceed only further.
Yeah.
The recruiter has made his mind. Yes. Even if that spot doesn't get filled, even if that's okay for him, but the wrong candidate should not get it.
And some 2-3 people I have seen actually in my interview experience when I do some outside interviews, some freelancing interviews, right? So 2-3 people are getting, how they are telling. They are telling that I'm running a random forest and finally I'm doing a classification based on probability threshold. To all these guys, I'm asking, how did you get probability from random forest? And these guys are like, no, probability will come and then we will say greater than 0.5 this category, less this category. I again ask, random forest? Yes, we used a random forest model. What kind of impression it will create?
Yes. So the basics are really important. You should go with basics.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, a student approached me. He said that I'm currently pursuing this course. It's a paid course, and they are offering the job guarantee program and all. I told him, the job guarantee is only by you. The company won't guarantee any company or any course won't guarantee you the job. It's mentioned in their policy. Okay, if the course, if it's mentioned in their policy, tell me what if you are in an interview and you don't answer a single question? Would you be recruited? He said, no, I have to. No, it's on me. So and I asked, okay, what all things have you done? He told me, okay, I have done NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, and all the stuff. Okay, I asked him, tell me what is the difference between mean and median. He wasn't in the condition to answer that as well. He didn't answer. He didn't answer that as well. I don't know what's median.
Oh.
Then yes. Then sir, tell me how can how can this proceed? What's meaning in learning all this NumPy and Pandas and all if you don't know basic stats concepts? It's
very
just
true.
Yes, they are just making our lives easy by implementing the code. You don't have to calculate every time the mean by your hands and all. So it just makes our lives easier. But the underlying concepts we need to know what actually they are doing and when to use what. That's really important. So focus more on basics. Advanced things you will get there eventually.
Yes. Anything else, Gaurav, that we should cover, or we have covered many things?
Let me check in my. I have jotted down. Okay. So not as such.
Okay,
I guess
not a problem. We have covered many things. It will be really useful for people. People, let us know in comment. And
yes,
thank you, Gaurav, for your time. After your first day of job, you are giving me time. So
yeah, no biggie.
Okay. So take care, Gaurav. We'll catch up again.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Definitely.
And
looking forward for that program as well. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. That will also come. Let me plan on that as well. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. And if anybody wants to, know much about it or needs any help and such in data science also, I'm ready to help. I will do as much as I can. You can reach out to me anytime.
Yeah, that's great, Gaurav. I'll drop Gaurav's email ID also in the description. Okay, you guys can.
Yes, sure.
And LinkedIn and email are fine, right?
Yes, fine, fine.
Okay, Gaurav, you are having a long day, so have dinner, take some rest.
Yes.
Catch up
Yes,
again.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night, sir.